Alright, in this video let's talk about palming, and more specifically the classic palm. I remember hearing a magician once say, I can't remember who it was, but he said something along the lines of, if you know how to do a card control, a force, a double lift, and a palm, those four things, and you can do miracles with a pack of cards. So until you can do those four really well, my recommendation to you guys is not to spend too much time practicing the less important stuff, you know, like flourishes or those kinds of things. Get those four down, and then you can practice your cobra cut or whatever you guys are doing these days. But this is really a fundamental when it comes to performing illusions and card magic, being able to palm a card. Now there's a lot of different palms. There's tenkai, there's copping, there's lateral palms, back palms. In this video I'm going to talk specifically about the classic palm. It's probably the most versatile and one of the most powerful palms. Okay, so this video is just going to be the anatomy of a classic palm. I'm going to show you how to position the card in your palm so that it looks natural and so that it is covered properly. Alright, in later videos I'll teach you how to actually get into this position, but first I want you guys to just get comfortable with the concept of hiding a card in your palm. Okay, so grab a card and follow along, and I'll show you some of the key points. Now, I know a lot of you are going to complain about your hand being too small for this, and in a lot of cases it might be true, but as long as your fingers can cover the width of the card, as long as the width of your hand is greater than the width of the card, then you should be good. Okay, I mean, I myself have pretty small hands, and I'm able to do it. For you younger guys who your hand size hasn't developed as much, you know, I would still practice it because your hands will grow, and when that time comes you'll be ready for it. Alright, so here's what you're going to do. Take the card, place it in your palm, and here are the key points. The points of contact are your pinky and kind of the base of your thumb. Alright, now the exact positions are really just going to depend on the structure of your hand, but those are the two general areas. Those are where you're applying pressure, or where the card is really coming in contact with. The rest of these fingers, they're really just for cover. They are touching the card a little bit, but they're not applying any pressure at all. They're kind of just there to hide the card. Okay, so you really just want to focus on creating tension between these 2 points of contact. Okay, so from the back, it should look something like this. These 3 fingers are very loose. There's no tension in them at all. And then sometimes what I do is I curl my first finger in just a little bit to make it look more natural. And when people first start palming, you'll notice that they'll kind of do this thing. They'll stick their thumb out like that. It's just a natural tendency. But try to overcome that. You want your thumb to be more relaxed, kind of in this position right here. Now, one of the biggest issues that people have, or one of the biggest problems that people have with their palm, is that they'll have what we call windows, meaning in between their fingers the card is flashing. Okay, so you want to make sure that your fingers are all together. Okay, and one way to kind of check to make sure that you're safe is, what I do is I just make sure that the tips of my fingers, more specifically these 3 fingers, are contacting each other. If they're in contact with each other and I can feel them pushing against each other, then I know I don't have any windows. But sometimes if they're loose and they're not touching, then that card will start to peep out. Alright, so just make sure that you have that contact there. And once you get this position down, you really want to get comfortable with it. At first your hand might feel a little cramped, or it might feel a little uncomfortable, but I would just get a card palmed in this position, and then you know, go through your day, do the things that you normally do, and just kind of develop that muscle memory, or that flexibility, whatever it is that's making you uncomfortable. That will go away with time. Okay, so you also want to think of ways to position your hands in a natural way once you have a card palmed. Okay, so there's a few shades, a few convenient positions. So for example, let me come around this way. So this is good. Let's say you're at the table, you have a card palmed. This is a good position. Or you can take like a glass or a bottle, take a drink, that's good. What else? If you're standing up, one thing that I like to do is if I have a card palmed and then I hand the deck off for it to be shuffled, I'll actually gesture to them for them to shuffle the cards. This is like an overhand shuffle simulation. Okay, from this angle, of course, you can see the card, but for the people in front, check it out in a mirror. You'll see that they can't see the palm card in this position, and it's just very natural. And then you drop your hands to your sides. Okay, so you want to think about those things. But that's pretty much the basics of what I wanted to cover about the card palm. If you have any questions about this move, then feel free to write them down in the comment section below, and I'll respond. But that's the classic palm. It's a very useful move to know when it comes to card magic. You can do some really powerful stuff if you can palm a card well. All right. That's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.